Dentro Rafa. Gol! Ebram! Gol! È l'azione più bella del mondo! È l'azione più bella!
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I'm your host Ollie Fisher, joined by the irreplicable Anthony Torgrud.
That sounds nice. I like the way that sounds. Hopefully it can be replicated. I've always wanted to be cloned. So maybe in the future we could do that. Then I could have my body double sit in and I could actually work.
You don't have to put up with this shit. It'll be AI powered as well, of course.
Yeah,
so
of course.
If it loads up your familiar catchphrases, it should be like a similar vibe. And of course, I'll be replaced.
As long as it doesn't take a turn like Grok did the other day.
Yeah. Just before we came on here, I saw a Scottish football fan, a Dundee United fan, who was convinced that Grok was a fan of their rival team, Dundee. And there's a lot of people in the replies like, this is not a real person. This is AI. So I think some people, a certain generation, are still wrapping their heads around how it all works. But we'll all be replaced at some point by robots. It's a matter of when and not if. Speaking of robots, we come to football in the modern era, and our boys have been jetted off to the Far East for the pre-season tour. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. There was the first friendly, an unofficial friendly, if you like, on Saturday to mention, and then we've got a couple of games against Premier League opponents to preview. Before we dive into the episode, thank you as always to our Substack founding members, Gianluca, Medicare, Ken, Roberto Racinos, Michael Villela, Tarek, JT Physio, Mike Schulz, Heavenly 13, Derek Favretto, Merlin Finker, Nasser Calafassi, Rajat, Raul Escobar, Luke Villano, Mats, MJ Kemin, Joey Gawler, Moritz Pullman, Tito Mack, and Des Windsor McLean. Really appreciate your support over on the Substack, which is, of course, our bonus content platform. Last week, we announced that we were doing a giveaway on there, and the winner was Jay. So congratulations to Jay. He won a home shirt any shirt for the 2025-26 season. So that'll be getting sent out to him today or tomorrow, I believe. So, yeah, that's just one of the ways that we like to reward everybody who supports what we do over there. The most recent bonus article that Isaac did while on vacation in Croatia, I might add. So all hands on deck here, no days off for us. He had some days off, but he did the article on the San Siro project because there's been a lot of developments / further frustrations, shall we say, on the San Siro front to do with the council, to do with the protest about the second tier, to do with the purchase price that the clubs have set, and a legal investigation into the council as well, which could be a real shitter. Isaac sums it all up in that.
Yeah, I'm not shocked by that at all.
Oh, it's a real mess. I won't go too much into it because I want people to go and read that. But Carlo Festa, the Solo 24 Ore journalist, said could be looking at 2050 the way things are going for a new stadium. And it's like, he's being exaggerative, I guess.
But he might not be.
He might not be, no, because we were in 2014 thinking, we'll be in our new home in Portillo in 2017-18, and here we still are, not a shovel in the ground, apart from to try and mend some parts of San Siro, which is falling apart. But yeah, it's all a fucking mess. The bonus pod that me and you did was on Thursday, I believe. Teo's Milan Fable. We went through the 6-year journey of Teo Hernandez at Milan, from the rise to stardom to the fall, to being a symbol of a season gone badly, really. There was a newsletter as well about adding experience through Luka Modric, who was officially confirmed as a new signing after doing his medical and everything. We knew it was coming, but yeah, in that you get a bulletin of the most important stories through the week if you can't keep up with the website on a day-to-day basis. But we appreciate, obviously, all those who do. Right, let's start with, I'm going to call it a friendly. It happened on Saturday. Obviously, we are going to talk about the Arsenal. They're the first official friendlies. But yeah, this one was a bit different to what they normally do, in the sense that they tend to invite like a Serie C or Serie D team to Milanello for a friendly. It's usually like Novara or somebody like that. And we have like 3 30-minute thirds, I guess it would be, against them. Just rotate the team, get minutes in the legs. This time we decided to do an intra-squad friendly against Milan Futuro, who I guess are a Serie D team. Or we'll find out if they're even good enough for that level next season. But this was, just two 45-minute halves. I will now bring up the graphic with the starting lineup. So this is the first starting 11 that Allegri named in since 2014. Of course, it's not official, but I'm going to use that as the tagline. You've got the Terracciani in there. We should mention Pietro Terracciano has arrived as the new deputy to Mike Maignan. We've done an analysis of him on the site. It's not quite as detailed as our normal ones because, he doesn't have the same backstory as Luka Modric, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But there was some interesting stuff in that. He's basically an upgrade in every area on Sportiello, bar one, which you might be surprised to hear given he's a couple of years older and stuff like that. But if you look at the numbers, and obviously for a goalkeeper, numbers are sometimes contextual based on the defence they have in front of them and things like that. Pietro Terracciano should be a better, more reliable deputy. So that's positive. Go read that analysis if you want more info. Then you've got Filippo Terracciano, no relation, on the right back position. Left back, Davide Bartesaghi, in absence of anyone else, really. Pavlovic Tomori as the centre-back pairing, Ricci as the regista, Bondo and Loftus-Cheek as the two mezzalas, Salamanca's Leao wingers, and Lorenzo Colombo up front, again, in absence of an actual centre-forward. Not an actual centre-forward, we know Colombo's going to probably leave. Jimenez, Pulisic and Maignan missed out with slight problems. But, yeah, it's still up in the air whether they're going to in the Arsenal game, but it's nothing to worry about, apparently. But that's not great. I don't think any of them have any injuries reported, and we're already at the point of can't play this one because they're not great,
Well, all I'm saying is, there was a competition that one of those guys asked to sit out from because he wasn't at 100%, and he got a lot of shit for it. So it's almost like he wasn't at 100% the entire time and had just been playing injured since January. Who knows? I'm just here to speak. That's all.
Is that a bit of grapevine stuff?
Could be. It could not be. I don't know.
Or maybe it's symbolic. He knows he'd be shouted at more if he played in an
it could be a
friendly against Milan Futuro. But no, on a serious note, if there are some concerns about these players, do not play them in a training game against the Futuro. That's absolutely fine with me. Yeah. Another thing I should mention is that Liberali played in the second half for the first team in this, which with all the stuff around his future, again, it might be in the absence of alternatives, but the stuff about him leaving has just cooled off for the time being. So it'd be interesting to see. And he's gone with the senior team for the preseason tour as well. So that is something else worth mentioning on that front. I think the only things to mention, really, because I guess the midfield kind of picks itself, but there was no Fofana in there. So whether he too is not 100%, chose Bondo and Loftus-Cheek, that's something. We know Modric won't join up until the start of August. I think it's the centre-back pairing that people have read the most into. Tomori Pavlovic versus Chao Gabbia, who played the second half. We'll have to keep an eye on that because I think that's one area where we will get some indications on what he prefers. He's going to try bed in that first choice centre-back pairing and probably the midfield combination as quickly as possible while waiting for reinforcements to make those fullback positions look a little bit better. The score, which I'm sure you all would love to know, was 3-0 to Milan, first team. So the Futuro got another battering, Odo out. The goal scorers were...
Was Gabbia playing for Futuro?
He must have been, because he is actually there in training with them. Presume Vasquez was in net. I don't know. It's all a bit wild. The goal scorers were Bartesaghi, Gabbia and Liberali. So 3 Italians on the score sheet.
The forwards doing a lot of work there, huh?
3 points and a clean sheet, mate, to start the season. Fantastic stuff.
Beaten, that's all that matters.
We move. Yeah, it's a fitness exercise. Don't really need to look into it too much, nor do you need to look too much into that starting 11 that I've displayed there. But Sky did a nice graphic and I've decided to display it, so enjoy. I wanted to move on before we talk about the. In fact, we can switch to the previews now because team news is a part of it. I want to begin with another graphic that doesn't display the best there, but you can see all the players as necessary. And for those listening, I'll talk through it. Luca Bianchin said something this morning about how again, in the absence of any natural fullbacks in the team, for the pre-season friendlies, Arsenal and Liverpool will be the big tests, given level of opponent. Allegri will consider playing a 3-4-3, which we kind of got used to with Conceição towards the back end of last season. But Maignan in goal, we'll see if he starts the Arsenal game. Tomori, Gabi, Pavlovic is a back three. Fofana, Ricci is the midfield pairing. Salamarcus, Jimenez, wing backs. Pulisic, Santi Jimenez, and Leao as the front three. Now, Jimenez will not be reporting until the start of August. So this is like a graphic that shows what it would look like, I guess, if we get to that Barry game in the Coppa Italia, for example. But you can swap in for Colombo when it comes to the friendlies. There's also been talk that Noah Okafor might start up front against Arsenal and Liverpool. Again, though, it's probably not the starting lineups and the results and the performances that matters so much in these games. I expect Arsenal and Liverpool to be a little bit further ahead than us in their preparations because this Premier League season starts a bit sooner. What are you looking for from these games?
Nothing.
No injuries, right?
Yeah, I mean that's about it. Real quick, do we think Luca listens to the bonus podcast? Because
he must do, because
if you recall, I named this exact lineup and formation on Thursday.
You did, yeah.
Name for name, flow for flow,
exactly
bar
the same,
for bar.
isn't
It is. That's very odd. Yeah, I mean, cool. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out, but just from the simple fact that we have no fullbacks. That said, so with these preseason games, let me give a little backstory, actually. So since last October, I have had to go to work, not from home, but in my office, a total of 4 times. Well, Wednesday at 9 a.m. will be day number 5. And this game is Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. So I will not be watching the Arsenal match.
Wow.
First preseason, and I will not be there for it. So
probably for the best, because I think we're going to get a bit of a butchering in this, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Again, people are always going to overreact to the results and performances of preseason games because they see Arsenal v Milan, Liverpool v Milan, and think it's something more than what it is. And as mentioned, Premier League season starts, I think it's a week earlier than what Serie A does. So they should be getting towards the end of their preseason preparations now. Neither team were at the Club World Cup either, which I think is an important thing because they've had a full preseason to work and everything in the same way that we have. Start with Arsenal. Obviously finished second in the Premier League last season. They dropped off quite a bit from pushing Man City all the way in 23-24. And they were beaten in the Champions League by the eventual winners PSG. So far this summer, they have signed Martin Zubamendi from Sociedad for 70 mil. Noni Madueke from Chelsea for 55 mil euros, this is. Norgard from Brentford for 11.6 mil. And Kepa from Chelsea for 5.8 million euros. So they've spent over 142 million already. Must be nice to have a bit of money, eh?
Yeah, I can't believe... Wow, they bought Kepa. I didn't know that.
There's a good deal that for 8 mil, like if Maignan were to go, because he was actually really good again at Bournemouth last season.
Yeah, he was fine. Did good at Madrid as well. He really was never that bad. It was just because he was the most expensive goalkeeper ever that it was like, well, he's not that good. But that's interesting. I don't think they brought in anyone that good, to be honest. I mean, Kepa is a steal for 8 mil, but Madueke for, you said 55? That's egregious. Zubamendi for 70? The fuck? Who signed off on that one? That's insanity.
I think that's too high. I don't know if that was a release clause.
Like, they're going to beat us 100%, but that doesn't take a whole lot. I'm just always in awe of the spending power of the Premier League and the bums that they choose to spend that power on.
Well, I think coming into this summer, I for those who don't know, without revealing my exact address, I live in an area of London called Tufnell Park, which is basically I could throw a stone at the Emirates from where I live. So I'm surrounded by Arsenal fans, which has its benefits and its drawbacks. Its drawbacks for the majority of the year until April when they implode, and it has its benefits in that moment. So yeah, I've heard for 3 years now about them needing a left winger and about needing a striker. Literally for 3 years, they've needed to buy someone in those positions. The problem is when I think there's two things, and I'm actually planning a feature kind of comparing us with Napoli about this very thing. We'll come on to Liverpool in a second, but there's strengthening from a position of strength, where you're trying to pad the gap out that you built to the other teams, as Liverpool did last season. And there's trying to strengthen amid desperation. And I think that everyone knows Arsenal need a striker and a left winger, and that is why they're having to pay double what they should.
Yeah, fair.
I think Madueke could do something there. I actually think he was all right for Chelsea. They've got about 18 wingers, and he was one of the best. But 55's high. 55 million euros is high. Zubimendi, they did need to replace, I guess, Partey. Less said the better about that guy. Jorginho. They've had some midfield exits, and I think there'll probably maybe be more to come as well. But 70 mil on him is interesting. I guess he's going to slot in as like a deep lying playmaker. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind him. I think there's a reason that I think there's a reason Real Madrid tried to hijack it at the last minute. I think he's a very good technical player. But they spent more on Declan Rice, didn't they? So it's like everything's judged against that. So
yeah, I think that's my issue, because Zubimendi on paper is a fine player. He's not world class in my opinion, but he's absolutely not a bum, as I said earlier. But when you parlay that against 70 mil spent, then it's like, okay, not worth that, But Declan Rice to me wasn't worth 100, even though he obviously scored, 2 great free kicks against Madrid to knock them out. I just, in my mind, I can't wrap my brain around any player being worth 100 mil in today's game, outside of the Ronaldos, the Messis, the Neymars, the Bales, like the guys that went back in our day. Yeah, not Jack Grealish, Declan Rice, who has been a match winner.
Yeah, Rice has been phenomenal, to be honest. To be honest,
he's a great player. I cannot agree to any value 9 figures for a player.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like those figures used to be reserved for the very best in the world.
Yeah.
And I know you can argue Rice is one of the best midfielders in the world, but it's just the way that the price point has shifted from the best strikers in the world costing that much to you're now getting midfield. I mean, look at Liverpool. Everyone kind of forgets that under Klopp, they actually threw a bit of money about. They spent quite big on Alisson. They spent a lot on Virgil van Dijk. I think he became the most expensive centre-back of all time at that point. And that felt mental because they committed, what was it, 130, 140 million on a centre-back and goalkeeper. But what they were actually doing is building a spine of a team that's gone on to be very successful. So I think you could probably argue that it paid off in the long run. But yeah, right, I'm with you. I think transfer fees have kind of gone out of control here. But maybe this is just we won't give Bruges 2 mil for...
That's the other thing is we're conditioned by what our club does, and it's not spend.
Yeah, thrift shop for us, isn't it? So yeah, I think Arsenal, as mentioned, bit ahead, better team. Pains me to say it, but they are a better team. The good news is that Gyökeres, it looks like, isn't going to be in time, because you just know that given we've been linked with him for about 4 years now, he'd definitely score a brace against us in his first game for Arsenal. Looks like he's going for 70. I
actually think that's fine.
Yeah, it's a striker, isn't it? It's the missing piece. Yeah. So yeah, interesting season for Arsenal. They're at a bit of a crossroads with Arteta. I think some of their fans turned on him a little bit towards the end of the season. They haven't won anything since that FA Cup in his first year. I think it was his first year that kind of saved him. And I know we're going to get a few replies saying Madueke is worth the money and Zubimendi's worth the money and stuff. But yeah, just try to understand that we're coming at it from a point of view of a club who has 20 mil net spend. Yeah, we got a very low net spend to be playing with here. So we're just saying how we'd spend it. And the answer is Archie Brown. I'm not even going to bother with the score prediction for the Arsenal game because I'm not bothered. Must be said that game is in Singapore, and then we move on to Hong Kong. There's a Singapore Football Festival and a Hong Kong Football Festival, which we are so happy to be a part of. One thing that I will say about this is that we will probably probably, maybe the Liverpool game, not actually, outnumber their fans because we have a ridiculous amount of fans out in the Far East. I know that the club advertise it as having like 100 million fans in Asia or something. It could be true. I don't know, but that feels very high. I'm trying to get up Liverpool's transfer business here.
I do feel like the non-English teams have a lot larger fan bases outside of Europe, like in Asia, Australia, even for a bit, and Africa has a decent amount as well. They also have a lot of Premier League fans, but like in the US, you tend to only find Premier League fans and the occasional top 5 league person or just like a big team, Whereas in Asia, based on what I've seen in preseason matches in the past, for whatever reason, the Serie A specifically has so many fans out there.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it almost always feels like a home game, which is cool. It's nice.
I think it's a bit of a time lag thing whereby, I don't know. It's like everything takes a bit of time to catch up. Like whereas in Europe, Milan have sort of gone down in relevance in the eyes of quite a lot of fans, because of our absence from the Champions League and things like that. It just seems to carry on for a lot longer. The allure and the charm. And we've got a lot of fans in North America as well, of course, but there's things like Pulisic to be factored into that. But yeah, it is nice to go and have a bit of a home game in some of these friendlies. Like we went out to America, obviously for the last preseason tour, and Real Madrid and Barcelona, like obviously had a lot more fans because big Spanish speaking communities there and stuff. But this, I think will be well backed. Anyway, Liverpool have spent quite a lot of money. Florian Wirtz, 125 million euros. Should we stop just to chat about that a little bit?
Look, I just went on a
nice
monologue about it. Same feelings. Now, he's worth much closer to his fee than the others, I think, that Arsenal bought, but 125 mil. I mean, back in the day, like Ronaldo to Madrid was only 90, and inflation, sign of the times, blah blah blah, all that bullshit. But like, you can't tell me they're on par. And I know that it's not the same thing. I know mentally, logically, there's inflation, there's all kinds of other factors that go into it, and it's not a like for like transfer. But my old man brain just cannot grasp 125 million for any one player who is not a Ballon d'Or winner. It doesn't make sense. But good for him. I actually really like Florian Wirtz. I think he's a fantastic player and probably is worth close to that in today's market. But fuck off. Like, that's crazy.
Well summarized. 125 is huge.
That's our entire market, then some.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
With departures.
But again, just sort of the strengthening from position of strength thing. Like Liverpool didn't really spend last summer ahead of Arne Slot's first season. Everyone said they needed a defensive midfielder. There's talk of them needing another striker. Obviously, this summer with what's happened, the tragic passing of Diogo Jota and his brother, like they need. There's no easy way to say it, but they do need a striker now because unfortunately there's a gap in the squad there. So, they've gone out to strengthen the forward department. Wirtz comes in, 57 goals, 65 assists in 197 games for Leverkusen. It's good numbers, but numbers to constitute spending, that much. It's big money, big money. It's almost at the point of like, what numbers does he need for that to look like a good signing? Does he need 30 goals?
The third most expensive transfer? Neymar, Mbappe, and then him, I think, right?
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
I'm just going to check.
Yeah. Milos Kerkez is another one that Liverpool has spent big on. Remember him?
Good for him, honestly. He deserves all of it, and we deserve nothing for letting him go. He wasn't starting over Teo, but he's fantastic.
Yeah, the way that I'll say is that it's a shame the way that went, but I don't think Milan should feel any regret over the way it went because there was only one way it could go. He went at the end of that. Sorry, you've got the numbers, have you?
I do. He is the sixth most expensive transfer.
Right, so it's definitely Mbappe and Neymar.
Yeah,
is there some Saudi?
Neymar than Mbappe, but No.
No sound. You've got
Who did Neymar get replaced with at Barca?
Dembele. No. Is Usman Dembele one of them?
Dembele and the other guy, because they sent 2 people that window with the same price, 135 each.
Coutinho.
Yep. So Coutinho and Dembele, 3rd and 4th. I mean, they're interchangeable.
Did Hazard
cost Felix?
Oh, João Felix. Yeah.
To,
That was obscene.
Madrid, 127. Yeah.
For
Hazard was
Atletico.
120. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I thought he was in and around there.
It's crazy. I'm just looking at. There's been 17 transfers over 100 million euros. That's disgusting.
I think what Liverpool are trying to do here is open up like a multi-year dominance period, kind of as Napoli are doing in Serie A by having another quite expansive transfer window. But they will feel like they could have had a run at the Champions League last season, I think, and that, with a bit more depth, it might help them get over the line. Obviously, Trent's left to Real Madrid on a free, but they've replaced him already with Jeremy Frimpong from Leverkusen for 40 mil, so they've raided them. And Kirk has 46.9 million euros from Bournemouth. And as you say, good for him, but I don't want any revisionism about how that went down. He went to Milan and said, I want to start, and we were like, well, Teo's there, and he was like, all right, I want to leave then.
And there wasn't a place for him. I wish we could have convinced him to stay or send him on loan or something.
Yeah,
because
that might have been.
Knew that he was going to become a player. He just wasn't when Teo was in his heyday.
Yeah, I think as well, a lot of people said that we should have done some sort of thing with a buyback. I think the way that discussion went down, given that he was 17 or 18 at the time, the bridge was pretty much burned when he demanded a transfer. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think you're then going to put a buyback in when he doesn't want to be here anymore. I just don't think that's how it works. And we weren't to know what he'd become. People are saying he could have been Teo's heir now. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. No way would he have been a backup for that long. He didn't even want to be a backup when he was 17. So, one of those. It's unfortunate. That's the way that it's worked out. But you see other players where a similar thing happens and they just amount to absolutely nothing. In fact, that happens in the vast majority of cases. So just because one's gone on to be worth 46 million euros, I don't think it should be used as a stick to beat the current management with. Like, I think it gets a bit silly in that circumstance.
Oh, it wasn't even the current management.
It wasn't exactly, yeah. But I've seen that discourse happening. So yeah, they spent pretty big. I said Trent's gone. Kwanzaa has gone to Bayer Leverkusen. Investigate that. There's quite a lot going on between those two clubs. He's gone there for 35 million euros. 35. They were going to pay us.
Who is this?
Gerald Kwanzaa. He's 22 years old. He started, I think, quite a bit last season for Liverpool, but I don't think he's that great. Like, he wouldn't be bumping out Konate or Van Dijk. And yeah, 35 mil they've given him. Bearing in mind they were willing to offer, what was it, 15 or 20 for Chow? Be like, hang on a minute. One of them's like an actual German international.
Yeah.
Kwanzaa's played a tiny bit for England, but come on.
Never for the senior squad.
Yeah. Kelleher has gone to Brentford for 14.8 million, the backup goalkeeper. Nat Phillips to West Brom. Trent technically went for 10 mil because they paid that fee to get him in for the Club World Cup. But yeah. So yeah, they've kind of like sold fringe players there and brought in over 60 million.
Amazing. I mean, that's ideal, right? For every club.
Yeah.
Get rid of your dead weight or your fringe players and bring in new starters. Every transfer should be looked at as, can this guy start or can he compete for the starting spot? Not, we need a backup. Let's look for someone who's not as good as our starter. Like, that doesn't help you. That doesn't build anything. No.
Yeah,
that's what we do because we don't have any money. But anytime you bring in a new player, like, you should be like, hey, Leao, this guy's going to compete for your spot. You better put in your best shifts. Or like, obviously, no one's taking the spot from Leao, but that's the mentality with each signing. Not, Menyan, like, you're never going to leave your spot, but we have to have a backup. So, Terciano, you want to join us? You're never going to play. Yeah, sure. Okay. Like, it's
Menyan, we know you don't want to be here. Yeah, but we're gonna have to stay. We're gonna have to keep you against your will. And we've got a new backup, by the way. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, we also really struggle selling players, don't we?
God, we're so bad at it.
Yeah,
because we hold on to our players until we're done with them, and everyone knows we're done with them, and they're like, "Oh, well, you don't want this guy." Even Reinders, someone we didn't want to get rid of, we didn't have to get rid of our best player. They still said, "Hey, let's lowball you," and we said, "Deal." Like what?
Already signing before this.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about transfers because I wanted to touch upon the Jashari stuff. Have you read what's happened in the last 24 hours? Of course, Club Brugge, fair play to them. They set their stall out when they came to Italy. They don't talk about players. They don't talk about their transfer rumours. Apart from when they speak to the Belgian media the day before they say that, and apart from when the head coach and the club captain are speaking on the sidelines of the Belgian Super Cup and telling us what the price is to pay.
The management doesn't speak about transfers. Their current players, their coaching staff, their fans, their media, everyone else talks about transfers on their behalf. That's how they do it. And they all have the same talking points. And look, I agree with them. If you set a price, meet the price. If they say no, don't keep trying to haggle over a little, $500,000 more here and there. Like, that's the price they set. Match it or don't. But it's a fucking soap opera, man. And it shouldn't be, because Milan's being stingy about it, and they're being very, very, like, I don't know what word is, but stiff. They're just not, they won't budge. They won't move.
It's the immovable force against the unstoppable object or whatever it is. It's like two really stubborn managements clashing.
By the way, for the second time. Why are they?
I do want to say at this point that I partly blame Tare for what's happened. Which it was when he gave that press conference alongside Allegri at his unveiling. He got asked about Jashari, and he said, "Well, we've made what we think's a fair offer, and the player wants to join us." I think he set the stall out there of, we're going to do some public talking about it. And then Bruges' director of football and CEO gave an interview to Belgian media where they said they haven't offered what we want yet, so we're planning on keeping him. And then, it seems to keep going in waves. And then the Italian media will say, "Oh, he's getting close now. He's fallen out with Club Bruges." I know it's pronounced Brugge, but I don't want to say that because it sounds silly. And now, you've got the the captain. Very, very strange interview. The video's available on Twitter, and as someone in our group chat pointed out, he looks really awkward throughout, as if he's been told to say something.
Yes.
He has. Says, 40 million is the price. But he also says, must have gone off script for this. If I was his age, I'd probably do the same thing. What the fuck? That's the captain.
That's your
coming
captain
out and saying, I'd go on strike too. So I think he wants to join us as well.
We don't want him.
His numbers are really good, by the way. I looked into him, but
I want to get this deal done at whatever we got to do. And look, we just sold Pobega. We saw the medical was taking place today. There's your extra $8 million. Give them the extra 3 or 2 or whatever it is. Bridge the gap. Meet their demand. And then fuck off. Never talk to that club again. Why are we doing this? Like, no organized friendlies, no more future transfers. Put a clause in all your contracts that no Brugge players, nothing. Like, just, they don't exist to me anymore. I don't want anything to do with them. I didn't after the CDK debacle that wasted an entire Mercato, the summer window after we won the title. We got one player in, because we spent it all on him. Doing the same thing. That's the part that pisses me off. They set a price. They did not move. And we took 3 months to meet it, knowing that the price never moved. Why do we think it's going to be different for a guy they want more for? Like, they're demanding a club record fee for the second time from us, and we gave it to them the first time. So why would they change their mind the second time?
I do wonder if they look at how we deal with other clubs and think, not us. We're not having that. So, for example, like last summer,
they're bigger than Chelsea, apparently.
The Fofana thing where we agreed personal terms and we got him to basically try force his way out, and we were up putting the offer like $1 million at a time, and then eventually towards the end of the window they finally buckled and we got him in. I just wonder if they look at that and they're like, not with us. No, you're not doing that. Like, this is the price, and until you meet it, he isn't going anywhere. And I actually think that that's kind of fair, and I am frustrated at the way we negotiate. Don't get me wrong.
I hate it.
But I think that what they've done in the last 24 hours has not bordered on. It's completely crossed the line of a lack of professionalism. I just think comments like that are very strange, silly. I mean, the coach said something odd as well. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was along the lines of like, we're expecting him back in training tomorrow. But as far as we know, like, yeah, like as far as we know, he wants to join Milan, and we'll see what happens. I hope it gets resolved quickly for everyone involved. And it's like, hang on, so you welcoming him back, or are you saying he can go? Like there's mixed messages coming from everything that they say.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, they also want the club record fee. This is not a club that's like, okay, we're building to win the Champions League. Like they're gonna stay in their league. They're gonna do their thing. They might make a run in the group stage of the Champions League every couple years when they qualify, but that's it. So getting a club record fee is like, this is their Champions League. If they to them a Champions League trophy is getting this transfer fee. They got it from us once. They want to beat us again, and that's what it is. And it is interesting that their captain was even asked about it, because that's not something that happens. Like, why was the interviewer saying, I want to know what he thinks about this Jashari deal? Like,
it was Schiavone as well, who's in the Damasio network. So he's gone over there to, I'm not going to say shit stir, but it feels like it a little bit. And he's managed to collar him literally on the side of the pitch. And he gives this really awkward interview. And it's like, all right, so the captain's setting the price now. That's interesting. Like, I think we all knew it's 40 million, but nobody's actually said it. And then he just comes out and says it. So he's clearly had some directive from above. It's all very strange. As you say, it's almost gone beyond soap opera now. It's like, it's a soap opera I'm bored of, and I just want the end of,
Exactly.
And the other thing to talk about, Pervis Estupiñan from Brighton. Similar negotiating tactic where we know the price is 20 and we're just going to offer 13 and then 15 but it does sound like this one is moving a bit, and he's now, I guess he would be the third choice at Brighton because they spent on De Kuiper. I'm glad we weren't running a parallel negotiation for that now.
That's what I wanted, though.
Yeah, I would have been okay with that, definitely. And Ferdi Kakioglu, might have butchered the pronunciation there, but they signed him from Fenerbahce. I think he looked pretty good, actually. Estupiñan with the injury problems that he's had, and that is worth mentioning. I looked it up. He's missed over 50 games in the last 2 seasons due to injury. That is something that factors, I think, into the price tag. But we are in the ball with the fullback budget that we have, 15, 20 million. We have to take risks. We have to take a gamble. And one of the injuries he had was an ankle problem. That was the majority of the games that he missed. So I think you could say that was unlucky. But he has had quite a few muscle problems as well. So that would be something to monitor. But he's 27, Ecuador international. His first 2 seasons in the Premier League, he was outstanding. One of the best fullbacks in the league, genuinely. He was getting links with like a 50 mil plus move to Man United. It hasn't happened. He's kind of hit the buffers a bit there. He's understandably, I think, wanting to change scenery, given they've signed 2 left backs since. I really do think this one gets done. I know I'm tempting fate by saying that, but it seems like even they're open to letting him go.
I hope so. I think he, like you said, he's a very good player. The injury risk is a big one, and it almost makes me think we need a second left back if we do get him, which is not a good thing. Maybe Bartazagi will be fine if he doesn't get that injured, or maybe he just doesn't get injured at all. Like Pulisic was very injury prone at Chelsea and then just didn't get hurt with us. Like obviously had a few knocks here and there and missed a couple games, but nothing long standing like elsewhere. So maybe that's a good thing. He's 27, like you said, so he's entering his prime years, which is good because we've seen him not in his prime and he was very good. For the price tag, we offer 13. They said, no, we want 23. We came back with 18. They said, no, we want 23. And now we're going 18 plus some bonuses, maybe up to 20. And that's last I heard. So they're probably going to say, no, we want 23. And maybe we give them 23. Who knows? But I think you just, in today's market, after we just went on this, rant about Liverpool and Arsenal price tags, how are we saying we need a left back that starts and a right back that starts, and the budget total is 25 million for both? You can't set a price tag of half of one player and expect to get 2 good players. It's not going to work. So that's why I said switch to the 3 at the back, because I have no faith that we're going to get good enough fullbacks. I hope we do. I hope I'm wrong, and I'm wrong all the time. So I hope it happens. But
the Matt Pubil thing, maybe, that deserves a mention too. That's really confused me, to be honest.
Yeah.
We sent team doctors out to Barcelona. Obviously, he plays for Almeria, but it's not far from Barcelona, to do an examination on his knee, because he failed a medical at Atalanta last year because they identified a knee problem. And he passed this knee test with flying colours, apparently. And then, just as Fabrizio Romano even said, we're going to accelerate. Now's the time. We're going to negotiate with Almeria. We've gone cold on it because we've decided that he actually isn't the profile that we want. Now, either we've broken through somewhere else. Maybe we've got somewhere with Gueladue, or I can't remember who else was. We've had like Dodo linked, and Vanderson and Wesley and players like that. So yeah, either we've got somewhere with an alternative lead, or I don't know what the other thing is, because you can't go out and test the guy's knee while he's playing for another. Like, it's not an official medical. They've agreed to let us come and check out this guy's knee, which means there must be interest there. There simply has to be. And then when he passes that test, to then be like, actually, I don't know if we want the guy. I
wonder if they did more than just a knee test, and officially it was just a knee test, but maybe also it was like part of the medical, so that they could, if he passed, sign the deal and ship him straight to Singapore, maybe to catch up.
Possible,
and
yeah.
Maybe he didn't do as well in that part, and because that wasn't the official reason, they can't say.
Yeah, and there was something in Gazzetta this morning which said that Jashari and Estupiñan, who we still expect to get done this week, apparently, would fly out and join up with them for the tour. So rather than having to wait until they all get back in early August, they would be out there to meet their new teammates and maybe play some minutes, which I think would be beneficial. I don't know why it has to be that anyone signs from, in the next few days has to stay at Milanello for. Go join them, get some important minutes and things. That's about it, really. There's not a lot on the striker front. I think we're waiting until the end of the window for that. So let's answer some questions. I've seen one of these already, by the way, and it's good. So I'm going to go to the Discord first, and of course it's having to reboot. Pod questions, okay. This one comes from Steve McQuark. If you didn't have a podcast on Milan, what would be the next best thing you'd want to have a podcast on?
Conspiracy theories. Love them.
Oh, that's good.
Love them.
That is really good. Yeah. What do I find myself watching? I think war. Something war related. Like
we kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do, yeah. We'd be good talking about war as well, because historically we've always been allies, apart from that one time.
Well, 2 times, actually. We're 1-1, and then a bunch of co-victories against each other,
Yeah. So, yeah, I think something like that. Yeah. Next one. Mihan. I guess you can see not a lot's happening with the team by the nature of the questions here. When hungover badly, what's your best remedies to cure it as best you can? I don't know if he's Scottish, might be Scottish.
So, the greatest tool that you will ever use, liquid IV. As Oli as my witness, the day we met up, both extremely drunk. Oli started throwing up, got us kicked out of the pub. I stumbled alone through London at night on my first day there. I found the metro and got to my hotel, but then was woken up aggressively at like 7 a.m. by a girlfriend who was ready to go on a tour. My head was pounding. Took 1 liquid IV packet, put it in a normal size bottle of water, shook it up, chugged it, and within 30 minutes everything was gone. And I'm old now, so I get bad hangovers. So yeah, live and die by liquid IV.
Yeah, I would say electrolytes tend to do the job. Quite a few replies in that particular thread said the same kind of thing. Like a couple of electrolyte drinks. Normally one doesn't do the job. if you pass the, sometimes you get hung, or I have been hungover past the point of wanting to eat. You know, like the idea of eating makes you feel sick. But if you're just inside there, then a full English breakfast is pretty damn good because it's full of stuff that it shouldn't be, but it like gets you going big time.
During the college days, we would go to Jack in the Box in the morning and just get the greasiest, nastiest, fucking trashiest tacos you could buy for 99 cents. I think scientifically that makes it worse, but in college when hangovers don't really matter, we always thought it was the cure. So.
Yeah, I don't know what there would be in it that apart from an awful lot of grease and cholesterol.
Diarrhea.
I guess it's a lot of instant calories, and calories are what your body would need for the energy to fight off the. I guess maybe that's all it is. Other stuff in there like really sugary drinks. Do you know what? I'm going to re-answer the question. The best hangover cure is hair of the dog. Just crack back on.
Pop another one. Yep.
Yeah, literally. Kerry Leicester asks, which is real hit for those who don't know. Question for the pod. Unless we get a significant offer for Chukwueze, should we sell him? I think we should give him a chance and maybe invest in the backup left winger position.
I agree with all of that, except I would keep Okafor as well. I don't think we need a backup for either wing. Yeah, I definitely keep both of them.
If Okafor were comfortable, like remaining and being an obvious deputy, then I'd think about it.
I wonder if he's starting to get to that level because he knew he wasn't starting over Leao, right? Like I think everyone understands his level, including him, that he's not going to start over Leao. But he went to Napoli to replace the departing Kvaratskhelia. Yeah, he didn't start there either. And he got much better physical conditioning under Conte and still wasn't starting. So a part of me thinks, a normal person with a bit of introspection would think, okay, maybe I'm just not at that level and I am a top tier backup. Now, athletes don't tend to have that.
So I am one of the best backups in the world.
Yeah, if you want to put a top club, like that's where it is. So maybe he just accepts it, but I doubt it.
Yeah. We'll have to see.
I think striker. I said he should have been a striker the day we bought him. I was like, what do you mean he's a left wing? He's a striker. But
he's going to start up front, it sounds like, in some of these friendlies. So, who knows? It might be an audition for him of sorts where if Allegri likes what he sees, then he'll hang around and be the backup left winger and third choice striker, which is kind of what he arrived as and what he's always been no matter where he's been. There's that. I think Chukwueze is going to have more interest. I wouldn't sell him unless we got our money back, which I know sounds bold, but I think it's not a problem for us to solve at the moment, really. By all accounts, he's quite happy here. He sort of understands that until he starts massively outperforming Pulisic, there's no way that hierarchy is going to flip. So he has to take his chances when they come. But he's not agitating for a move, knows that he's at a big club and he's got his spot in the national team and all that. But yeah, if an offer comes in like 15 mil, you get your money back. I think you can probably go out and spend that well. For example, I think Loriente was on the verge of joining Sunderland and that collapsed. So he collapsed. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. But yeah, the deal collapsed, Fabrizio said, and he's off.
Wow.
So say if an offer comes in for Chukwueze tomorrow for 15 mil, you sell him. You send it straight to Sassuolo for Loriente, and then you've got Loriente backup left winger, Salamanca's backup right winger. I think you can rock with that for next season. And I think you'd have a stronger attack with that. But that's another thing to factor in is that Salamanca's can back up on either wing position. So not that it makes it ideal. I think you'd want him as a right winger. More so than a left winger. But yeah, he can do that. So I think it's more a case of if the right offers come in for Okafor or Chukwueze, both would be open to leaving. I just think there's far bigger issues in the squad to fix now. So you don't have to create a headache that isn't there. Get the fullbacks fixed, get a midfielder, and then if there's anything to pounce on, it would be getting the right striker in. And what did I say, by the way? Do you remember when I said I think Højlund's name will come up?
Yeah, he did.
All over the media today. Although it wasn't like
I think people just listen. They hear our ideas and go, so let's write that up.
Bianchini nicking your formation. Allegri potentially stealing your formation. You don't have a UEFA A to my knowledge, but
I don't have any.
Nino asks, if Cafu is giving Estupiñan the seal of approval, does it make it even more likely we get this done, or make it more likely that we lowball fumble it? Interesting side question to that is, do you think pundits, ex club legends, when they say something, it has an impact?
Sometimes
in a negotiation.
I think it can. It's not, black and white. Like Cafu obviously is an incredible player.
Yeah.
Would I say he's someone that if he speaks, the whole club goes, we got to do exactly what he said? Probably not.
Boban.
Yeah, exactly. But and I don't think it makes any difference to how much we're going to offer or what we're going to offer. I know that wasn't actually his question, but he did say if because of it that we change our money. No, we're going to offer exactly what we want. It's just nice knowing that people who have played the position for us during a better time also agree with it. It's just kind of that. Now, does it make Brighton go, maybe we charge him more? Could be. Do I think that's what's happening? No, I don't think it has any real impact.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. And I think that it would be naive to presume that Cafu hasn't had some kind of impact on, like maybe young South American fullbacks will idolize Cafu, is what I'm trying to say. So if Estupiñan hears that, he's probably thinking, oh, that's great. But I think it would matter more. Like, he already wants the move as it is, so you can't really push anything forward on that side. But say if, like, Dodo was unsure, a Brazilian right back, and Cafu came out and said, that's the guy you should go for, Dodo might be like, I could pick up his legacy, and then he starts pushing for a move, and all of a sudden Milan can get a better deal with Fiorentina. That's where I think it would make a difference. But it sounds like Estupiñan wants to come and Brighton are willing to sell, so that's like a pretty good starting point.
I think the only way it would affect the price is if, like, say we're going for Estupiñan and he's just kind of an okay profile. No one really feels anything about it one way or the other. Deals move along fine. And then Maldini comes out and says, this is the closest left back in world football today to me in my prime. Everyone goes, oh, he's better than we think. All right, let's get a little more money out of it. If everyone thinks he's the next Maldini, let me get some more money. But that's not what's happening, No. Like, yeah, is Cafu up there? Of course. But it's not him. He's not saying this guy's as good as I was. He's just saying this is a really good move.
He'd do.
Yeah, exactly.
He's all right. Yeah. I will. Yeah, no, I'm going to leave it there. We got a lot of questions about similar sort of thing, fullbacks and stuff. Yeah, so this is. I mean, we had a little bit of a friendly to talk about there, but it's not quite the same. But yeah, as of next week, we will actually have some meaningful game action to talk about. So that will be exciting.
When's the bar game? I didn't know we had meaningful games next week.
No, I mean, like, friendlies that are more than just playing the Futuro.
Like, you mean like the recap? Yeah.
I just mean the Arsenal and Liverpool games.
Gotcha.
To be honest, and no doubt we'll get hammered in both of them, so we can gloss over them and move on to talking about the next target that we're lowballing.
Madueke hat trick for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Zubamendi screamer. And yeah, back later in the week with another bonus podcast episode. And of course, next week with a main pod. I'm going on a holiday to Spain on Thursday, so I may not feature in the next main pod.
Yeah, I don't know what
we're
just
learning this now, I think.
Yeah. We'll see.
You'll manage.
He just doesn't show up. It'll be me for an hour. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you can just talk through it. I suppose there's a chance the hotel Wi-Fi is good enough and I can hop on. So we'll see. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you for watching, everybody. Be sure to check out the Substack, of course, and have a fantastic week.